and check all the miracles that happen in the Torah. Even though now, when you think about it today, after so many years, it sounds 100% like fairy tales. Very hard to believe that things like this happen. Even though today there are great miracles happening, great miracles, but is not as common as the stories of the Torah. I can give you an example of an unbelievable miracle that, in my opinion, you don't have to agree, in my opinion, these two miracles I'm about to mention to you are not less than the 10 plagues. One of them is 25 years ago approximately in the Western world, in Sukkot, Chol HaMoed of Sukkot, 20,000 Jews inside in a space of the Western world for Tfilat Chol HaMoed. There were Berkat Kohanim of Musaf, 150 Kohanim blessed the audience, 20,000 men, women, children, old people. The Arabs were preparing rocks in barrels, hundreds of barrels full of rocks, each one of them size of a melon, size of an orange, not little stones, big rocks, filling up barrels, hundreds of barrels full of rocks, for weeks, to attack the Jewish people down there. You see it on the video. Once you see the video, you know exactly what I tell you. It's exactly what happened. In the middle of the prayers, mamash, close to the end, thousands of rocks, like rain, big rocks, were falling from on top of the Kotel, that's where the Arabs are, all over the heads of the people. 20,000 people started to run. People are falling, pushing. Everybody trying to run before he gets a rock to his head and get killed. Later you see the floor of the Western Wall. You could not walk one step without stepping on a rock. There were thousands of rocks, thousands. Not one person died, not one person got injured. Not one person died, not one person got injured, not one head split open, nobody died from stepping on his head. You just saw now in Meron what happened. People started to run, 45 people died. In football stadium, soccer stadium, there's sometimes fight with the police, people pushing, the whole stadium collapsed, 100 people died in a minute. Over here, there was an unbelievable miracle. 2 minutes before they started to throw the rocks, they did יברכך השם וישמרך, יאר השם פניו אליך ויחונך, יישא השם פניו אליך וישם לך שלום. 2 minutes before. If they would throw the rocks 10 minutes earlier, I do not know what would happen. This is one miracle. Obviously it's an open miracle. Nobody until today understands how now one person died. Do you know what it means? You get a rock on your head from the 3rd floor in the size of a melon. If it falls on your head or on your shoulder or on your back, you died in the spot. And remember, people were like sardines. Do you know what it means? 20,000 people in a kotel. You cannot move. You cannot eat your head. You can move your hands, especially when everyone runs. And people begin to fall, children, old people. Now one person got injured. That's a huge miracle. That can never happen randomly. I'll give you another example. When Saddam Hussein shot 60 Scud missiles at Israel, 21 of them fell in the ocean. 39 of them fell on Israel land. Only one person died from a heart attack, not from the rock, from the missile. Now one person died from the Scud missile. Scud missile is the size of this shul. Look how big the shul is from here to the door. And it's very, very wide. It looks like an airplane. Sometimes you see the Iranians have their missile on a semi-trailer. It's longer than the whole truck. Something like this flies for thousands of miles and lands in the middle of Tel Aviv, in Shchunat HaTikva, in Bet Dani. Even without explosive, just from running few blocks, he could have killed 1,000 people. One missile like this fell on the American in Saudi Arabia in the middle of the desert. 125 Americans died on the spot, in the middle of the desert. It fell over here in Tel Aviv, in Ramat Gan, in other places. Nobody died, but that's not the main miracle. 10 years before, the Israeli central gas station in the center of near Tel Aviv, they prepare a new central gas station, state of the art, much better than a primitive one. But the employees refuse to move to the new place. Transportation issues, it's not comfortable, it's far, we're going to make a strike. For 10 years they're begging them, move to the new facility. We cannot run, it's not safe. This is serving gas to 1 million Israelis around Tel Aviv. It's not safe, you have to move to the new place. Finally, they agree to move 1 week before a missile of Saddam Hussein hit the main tank of all the gas to the entire area of Tel Aviv, hit it directly on it, not a little bit to the left or to the right, directly on it, and exploded. If they would not move a week before, first of all, you would have hundreds of dead people on the spot in the place, and then all the gas of Tel Aviv will go on fire and will burn about tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of apartments and houses. It would burn all the pipes. Do I have to tell you what happened when all the pipes caught on fire and it begins to run all over Tel Aviv? That will be the end of us. Worse than a nuclear bomb. So after 10 years, they move 1 week before. In September 11, there was the shipping company, Tzim, Israeli shipping company, had 300 employees in Twin Towers, in a very, very high floor. After being there for decades, 1 week before September 11, they moved to New Jersey. That caused a lot of Americans to say that the Israelis are behind September 11. It cannot be coincidence that a week before September 11, this big company with 300 Jewish Israeli employees moved out of the building after decades. And obviously we know that what saved us is the hand of Hashem. Also it was slichot. All the Jews, there's thousands of Jews working on September 11. Usually they arrive by 9 o'clock, they have to be there. But because it was the month of Elul, and there's an extra 1 hour slichot, everyone came 40 minutes later than usual, because you couldn't show up to work. So all the Jews, all the religious Jews who goes to slichot, that was supposed to die that day, all of them got saved just because it was in the month of Elul. So we see a lot of miracles today. Of course, people will deny and say that it's coincidence. We, the believers, know nothing is coincidence. It's all the hand of Hashem. But that's not the topic.